So here, and then Allah, so it becomes nutfa, zygote, and then it becomes alaqa. It clings to the womb, so it embeds. The zygote moves down, so the fallopian tube, when the boeda comes out, and then the many comes, they meet. And that is an incredible meeting, because that is the moment of creation, that Allah is bringing a new creation into existence. And all of us went through that. And when they meet, immediately, biological life begins. The boeda it's not biological life. The many is not biological life. Right when they meet, biological life begins. And this is a completely unique set of genetic. In any form that He created to combine you. Allah says that in the Quran. He combined you. And now they talk about combinatorial DNA. Allah combined the human being. From all of, the Prophet ﷺ said, every child, every single human being, from Adam and Eve all the way down to your creation, every single one of them participated in your coming into existence. And we know that now with material sciences. The Prophet told us that. Who told the Prophet that? Allamhu shadid al-quwa. So he says that it becomes alaqa, it embeds into the womb, and then it becomes a mudgha. The initial stages, it looks like a chewed piece of flesh. And you can see this now with microscopes. They see this. It looks chewed piece of flesh. And then it becomes, after the mudgha, and then it becomes ilam and kasawna al-ilam al-lahma, and then Allah creates a new creation. ثُمَّ يَبْعَثُ اللَّهُ مَلَكًا فَيَنْفُخُ فِيهِ الرُّوحِ. So the angel brings in the ruh. And this is the beginning, I think, because the first brain waves that we detect are at around 7 weeks. So it's around 40 days. You see the beginning of actually brain activity. So consciousness is emerging in the human being. Because the ruh, consciousness is from the ruh. إلى غير ذلك من الأخبار ولكون الأبوين سببا في وجود الولد عظم الله تعالى حقهما. And because your parents are the means by which you came into existence, Allah has magnified their right. وألزم بعد شكره شكرهما. And He has necessitated, after giving gratitude to Allah, to give gratitude to your parents. فقال أنشكر لي ولوالديك إلي المصير. To thank me and to thank your parents. And to me is your return. وَسُمِّيَ الْوَلَدْ إِبْنًا. We call the walad is called ibnan, which is from هو مشتق من بنيت البنية. I built the building. تنبيها على أنه جار للأب مجرى البناء للباني. So what he's saying there is very interesting. The bani didn't create the materials. He's just putting them together. So he's the source, but he's not the real source. He's just putting them together. So now ذكر العناصر التي أوجد منها الإنسان. So to make mention of the elements by which the human being has come into existence. قد ذكر الله تعالى إلى العناصر التي خلق منها آدم. So he mentioned these elements that he created Adam. ونبه على أنه جعله إنسانا في 7 درجات. And he mentioned that he created the human being through 7 degrees. There's 7 stages. وأشار إلى ذلك في مواضع مختلفة حسب ما اقتضته الحكمة. And he indicates this in different places based upon what the wisdom of it requires. So whatever the wisdom required, Allah makes mention of. فقال تعالى في موضع. In one place he said خلقه من تراب in Ali Imran. إشارة إلى المبدأ الأول. So when he said he created him from turab, this is to indicate the very beginning, the very initiation of creation is from turab. And then he said وفي آخر من طين, and then from mud, which is the mixture of the two. إشارة الجمع بين التراب والماء, which is now he's mixed water with earth, right? Because we're water and earth. If you look at human constituents, the constituents that make up the human being, it's water and earth. We're about 70% water. As you get older, you dry out more, but we're about 70. Children have even more. Why we have to hydrate all the time? Because we're water. And then we're earth. We're made up of the same elements. It has All these elements that you find in earth, you're going to find in the human being, calcium and potassium and all these different elements. So then من طين إشارة إلى الجمع بين التراب وفي آخر من حمأ مسنون إشارة إلى الطين المتغير بالهواء أدنى تغير. Now he's added oxygen to the mix, and it becomes من حمأ مسنون. So it's also black. So it's a black clay that has a smell because of the oxygen. And this is an indication because Iblis, when he refused to bow down to Adam, one of the things he says, I'm going to bow down to something, min hamim masnun, like black clay. Like he actually points out the color of the clay because he's fire. And fire, the hottest fire, what's it look like? Is white fire. He's like very proud of his coloration. Like he's looking. So if you want to know the Atba'u Iblis from Atba'ullah, that's one of the hallmarks, is that they have no problem with color. Either way, the Prophet ﷺ said, لا فضل لعربيا على عجميا ولا لعجميا على عربيا ولا لأبيض على أسود ولا لأسود على أبيض. He went both ways. There's no preference. And he also didn't collectivize. He didn't say, لا فضل للبيض على السود. There's no preference of whites over black. He said, al-abyad ala al-aswad, because it goes down to the individual level. I was in New York, and this man said to me, he's telling me how he said, you're a recipient of white privilege. I said, I don't use those terms. He said, well, because you benefit from it. I said, well, give me an example of white privilege. He said, well, I was in a building, and these two cops came in, and I immediately said, hey, I didn't do it. And one of the cops said, you're the right color. He said, that's white privilege. I said, no, it's not. That's racism. That's the problem, is in the cop. Don't project that onto me. I'm not going to feel ashamed the way Allah created me. It's a big problem. But this is the source of it, is Iblis. It's kibr. It's an arrogance in the heart. So then he said, وفي آخر من طين لازب إشارة إلى الطين المستقر على حالة من الاعتدال يصلح لقبول الصورة. So now it's become طين لازب, that it's ready to have form. So it's ready, like a potter forms the clay. At a certain point, it's ready for him to make. He has to prepare the clay, and then he can begin to fashion what he's going to fashion. So he's saying it's طين لازب. And then وفي آخر من صلصال من حمأ مسنون. And then it's dried, and as if you can hear this salsala, like a ringing in it. And then finally, وفي آخر, this is the sixth stage, من صلصال كالفخار. And then it becomes like this firing phase, where it's like ready for firing. وقد أصلح بأثر من النار. So it's ready to be fired, to be put into the stove. فصار كالخزف. So it becomes like, khazaf is like potters, it's the ceramic. So it's ready to be, it's finished, to be prepared. They say al-khazaf as-Sini is porcelain, right? The khazaf is Chinese ceramic. وبهذه القوة النارية حصل في الإنسان أثر من الشيطنة. And because of this fiery potentiality in the human being, because there's fire, this force of fire, the human being has a demonic susceptibility because of the fire in the human being. The human being is susceptible to that fiery element, to become like a demon. وعلى هذا المعنى دل بقوله تعالى خلق الإنسان من صلصال كالفخار وخلق الجان من مارج من نار. I mean, see, his istinbat is so beautiful. So he's saying, and this is why Allah said, the human being, man was created from salsalan fakhar. The human being was created from this fired clay. And then immediately after, وَخَلَقَ الْجَانِ, and he created the jinn. There's a relationship. Because we have the element of fire in us, there's a relationship that we have, a susceptibility to become like jinn, like the demons. And then min marij min nar. What is marij min nar? Nar, lahab, there's an instability to it. So the demons are unstable. They're not stable, right? That's why people that are under demonic influence they're completely unstable, right? So it's like lahab. It doesn't have any istiqrar, whereas we're earth. So we have a kind of there's a grounding to us. And healthy human beings, we say he's very grounded. Like this is what we say. And for people that aren't well, you say flighty. They're like airy. They're not, they're not grounded. There's no substance.